The Amazon, a place where harsh natural rules exist far beyond human imagination. This enormous forest is so dangerous that even experienced biologists must remain cautious whenever they venture deep inside. Beneath the dense tree canopies lies a world where millions of species live, where silent predators lurk, and mysteries have never been discovered. Here, the boundary between a magnificent biological paradise and a deadly land exists only within inches. And today, join us as we explore the Amazon, the largest rainforest on the planet, where life and death always exist side by side. In the heart of the Amazon, where the rainforest stretches endlessly like a deep green ocean, the Amazonas National Forest unfolds as a natural treasure few people know about. Located in the state of Amazonas, this forest covers hundreds of thousands of acres of pristine wilderness. The Amazon River and its many tributaries form a mysterious network of waterways where morning mist mingles with the songs of tropical birds and the wing beats of vibrant macaws. The rainy season transforms vast areas into flooded forests, while the dry season reveals white, sandy beaches along the riverbanks. For centuries, indigenous communities such as the Kachinawa and Apurina have lived here, developing deep knowledge of traditional medicine and a harmonious relationship with nature. Today, the forest serves as a major center for scientific research on biodiversity and climate change. Visitors to the Amazonas National Forest can join guided hikes under ancient trees, paddle through quiet lakes and rivers, or simply listen to the untouched sounds of nature. Every step here is a reminder that Earth still holds wild places beyond human control. Tapajos is not just a river, but a lifeline that nourishes an entire hidden world within the Amazon rainforest. Its clear blue waters stretch like a quiet waterway, guiding people deep inside where birds sing, fish leap, and the ancient forest casts endless shade. On the banks, small villages live by fishing and farming, relying on this gentle river. Each morning, the water reflects the slender silhouettes of canoes where children go to school by river as naturally as city dwellers wait for a bus. Tapajos is their home, their table, and their road. Beneath the surface lies a rich ecological universe. Pink river dolphins glide softly, giant catfish swim along the deep bottom, and countless ornamental fish known to the world from distant glass aquariums originate here. Tapajos is like a grand theater, where life performs a multicolored symphony. Standing on the banks of the Tapajos, one feels a gentle yet persistent current, reminding us that life is not loud. It grows from what is simple and steadfast. This is the very soul of the Amazon, most clearly etched through Tapajos. The Shingu River, one of the largest tributaries of the Amazon, stretches more than 1,000 miles across northern Brazil, rising from the Mato Grosso Plateau before winding through dense rainforest and joining the mighty Amazon River. It is not only geographically significant, but also a lifeline for the region's ecosystems and communities. The Shingu flows through varied landscapes. In some areas, it glides peacefully through the forest, while in others, it crashes over waterfalls and rocky rapids. Along its banks lies lush vegetation with towering rainforest trees and wildflowers in brilliant colors, giving the region a beauty both grand and serene. Its ecosystem is remarkably rich, home to hundreds of fish species, tropical birds, and the iconic wildlife of the Amazon. It serves as both a precious biological treasure and a vital source of fish for local communities. The Shingu is also home to many indigenous groups whose ancient cultures are closely tied to the river. Villages along its banks maintain fishing traditions, small-scale farming, and seasonal festivals, making the Shingu a place where nature and people remain deeply intertwined. Pacaya Samiria National Reserve, known as the Mirror Forest of Peru, stretches across more than 7,700 square miles between the great Ucayali and Maranon rivers. During the rainy season, the water rises so high that it reflects the sky and the forest canopy like a giant mirror, creating a landscape found in few other places. The reserve was established in 1972 to protect this unique floodplain ecosystem and maintain fisheries resources for the dozens of indigenous communities living along its banks. Small villages along the waterways still preserve traditions of fishing, harvesting forest fruits, and using medicinal plants, keeping people connected to nature's rhythm across generations. Journeys to Pacaya Samiria often begin in the city of Iquitos, followed by boat rides along winding channels. Visitors can pass through ranger stations, join forest trails, or camp by the riverbank to watch the sunrise turn the vast flooded forest golden. Leticia, located in the southern tip of Colombia, is where the Amazon River opens into a natural border shared by 3 countries, Colombia, Brazil, and Peru. From small boats, the city appears with bustling docks, colorful riverside markets, and sounds blending the three neighboring cultures. Founded in the late 19th century, Leticia was once a trading outpost before becoming the main hub connecting the Colombian Amazon. Short streets weave between old churches, palm-shaded squares, and cafes facing the river, evoking a feeling both remote and welcoming. Not far from the city, Monkey Island, Isla de los Micos, and Lake Tarapoto offer landscapes where river dolphins swim, while indigenous villages greet visitors with traditional dances and local cuisine. Leticia is not only the gateway to the Amazon rainforest, but also a place where culture, commerce, and tourism meet, where national borders fade on the map and the river's pulse flows seamlessly across three lands. Mount Roraima lies at the tri-border point of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana, standing out with its flat summit like a giant tabletop, rising more than 9,200 feet above sea level. The mountain belongs to the Tepuy formations, ancient, almost vertical rock massifs separated from surrounding ranges by cliffs reaching up to 1,300 feet high. The summit of Roraima stretches across dozens of square miles, with rocky valleys, crystal-clear lakes, and cave systems carved from sandstone millions of years old. A humid climate and near-constant mist create an isolated ecosystem, home to many species of plants and insects found nowhere else on Earth. Geological studies identify Roraima as part of the Guyana Shield, dating back over 2 billion years, making it one of the oldest landforms on the planet. Many scientists describe the mountain as a lost world in the sky because of its complete isolation from the surrounding environment. Today, the only climbing route from the Venezuelan side allows expeditions to reach the summit, yet much of the plateau remains as pristine as it has been for millions of years. Presidente Figueiredo, located in the northern part of the state of Amazonas, is known as the Land of Waterfalls, with more than 150 waterfalls hidden in the Amazon rainforest. The scenery combines ancient basalt cliffs, deep green jungles, and winding rivers, forming a natural picture where water, rock, and trees merge into a pristine unity. Waterfalls such as Irashima Santuario and Orquídeas send foamy white water cascading over layers of smooth black rock, plunging into crystal-clear pools at the forest's edge. The limestone cave system of Coari, with its fantastic stalactites and underground rivers, adds even more mystery, making Presidente Figueiredo a place where nature displays both its power and its hidden silence. This region is also the gateway into the heart of the Amazon, where waterways and roads from Manaus stretch northward. Researchers have found traces of ancient settlements along the rivers, suggesting that this land was once part of a vast pre-Columbian cultural network where people lived relying on both the generosity and harshness of the Amazon. Amid the echoes of waterfalls mingling with birdsong descending into deep canyons, Presidente Figueiredo gives travelers the sense of stepping into a place where nature and history have never been separated, where every cliff and stream may still hold untold stories. The Amazon rainforest canopy stretches across Brazil, Peru, and Colombia, formed by tree crowns rising tens of meters high and merging into a continuous green roof over the tropical rainforest. It represents the highest ecological layer of the Amazon, receiving most of the sunlight and playing a key role in the region's water cycle and climate regulation. Biologists report that over 70% of rainforest species live in this canopy layer, from spider monkeys and toucans to thousands of insects and epiphytic plants. This richness is tied to the abundant food sources and the warm, humid microclimate found only at this height. Since the late 20th century, research towers and canopy walkways have been built, allowing scientists to directly access an ecosystem that had remained hidden for millions of years. Data shows that the canopy regulates temperature, retains water, and absorbs carbon on a massive scale. However, deforestation and climate change now threaten the integrity of this layer, leading many areas to be placed on the highest conservation priority lists by international organizations. Located along the Amazon River in southern Colombia, Puerto Narino stands out for its rare model of sustainable living in the middle of the rainforest. The town has no cars, no noise from engines, and all streets are reserved for pedestrians or bicycles. What makes Puerto Narino unique is how the indigenous community manages all public services, from wastewater treatment and garbage collection to the development of ecotourism. Every family takes part in conservation efforts, turning the town into a model of balance between people and nature. Colorful murals appear throughout the town, telling the legends and cultural life of the Ticuna and Yagua peoples. Visitors can stroll through the streets while exploring local history and spirituality on the walls themselves. Puerto Narino has thus become one of the most unique eco-towns in South America, where history, culture, and environmental stewardship come together as a vibrant whole. Manu National Park, located at the confluence of the mighty Andes and the vast Amazon basin of Peru, spans over 17,000 square kilometers and has been recognized by UNESCO as both a biosphere reserve and a World Heritage Site. With elevations ranging from 150 to over 4,000 meters, it encompasses every ecological zone, from misty cloud forests and high-altitude grasslands to dense tropical rainforests, making it one of the most biodiverse regions on the planet. Scientists have recorded over 1,000 bird species, 200 mammals, and thousands of plant species within this park. Colorful parrots, gather along clay cliffs by the rivers. Jaguars silently prowl through the jungle, while giant trees stretching tens of meters high shelter entire ecosystems beneath their canopies. Manu is also home to many indigenous communities, such as the Machiguenga, Yini, and Matsigenka, who preserve ancient medicinal knowledge and myths about forest gods and river spirits regarded as eternal guardians of this land. Many areas of the park remain untouched by modern human presence. In the park's core, large regions remain unmapped, and scientists believe hundreds of undiscovered plant and animal species still hide within the rainforest, making this one of the last biological frontiers on Earth. Isla de los Micos is a small island, but offers a completely different experience compared to the surrounding rainforest. What makes it famous is the thousands of squirrel monkeys living freely, forming a unique primate kingdom in the heart of the Amazon. These monkeys were originally brought here decades ago as part of an ecotourism project. Over time, the population grew to thousands, turning the island into a living laboratory for studying primate behavior and adaptation in a semi-wild environment. Visitors can walk along shaded trails, watching the monkeys swing from branch to branch above their heads, their calls echoing through the treetops like a tropical symphony. Many research groups also use this opportunity to observe their social interactions. Today, Isla de los Micos is not only a tourist attraction, but also a place that raises questions about the boundary between natural ecology and human influence in the Amazon rainforest. The Madre de Dios River region was once known as El Dorado Verde, the Green Promised Land, where in the 19th century, European and Peruvian expeditions ventured deep into the endless forests, seeking gold, rubber, and new routes across the Amazon. The Madre de Dios River quickly became a vital artery of transportation, giving rise to frontier towns in the wilderness, where merchants, explorers, and treasure hunters gathered. Yet this land soon revealed its harsh challenges: disease, treacherous terrain, and rainy seasons that made entire fleets of boats vanish without a trace. Many reports from the 19th century also mention mysterious indigenous cultures, almost completely isolated from the outside world, living along small tributaries that had never appeared on any map. By the 20th century, as the gold and rubber fever subsided, Madre de Dios became a center for scientific research. International geological and biological survey teams arrived to document new species of flora and fauna, study ancient soil layers, and build the first ecological databases of Peru's tropical rainforests. Today, many areas along Madre de Dios remain largely unexplored. Scientists believe that this rainforest may hide hundreds of unrecorded species, making it one of South America's last research frontiers. Nauta, located in northeastern Peru on the banks of the Maranon River, is one of the oldest towns in the Peruvian Amazon and serves as the gateway to the lower Amazon basin. The city lies about 60 miles south of Iquitos and is connected by the only highway in the entire Loreto region. Founded in the early 19th century, Nauta grew through river trade as boat routes linked many indigenous communities with the administrative and economic center in Iquitos. This legacy remains visible today in its busy docks and traditional riverside markets. Today, Nauta is best known as the departure point for travelers heading to the Pacaya Samiria Reserve, one of the largest biosphere reserves in South America, famous for its rich, flooded forest ecosystems and rare freshwater river dolphins. Despite the impact of modernization, Nauta still preserves its river-based lifestyle, where indigenous culture blends with growing commerce and ecotourism activities. Santarém, where the muddy brown Amazon River and the deep blue Tapajos River meet without merging immediately, creating a magical boundary of colors stretching for miles, like bold brushstrokes of nature on the Amazon's canvas. The city lies amid endless rainforest, where every rainy or dry season transforms the landscape dramatically. When waters recede, white sand beaches emerge. When they rise, the flooded forest becomes a vast green labyrinth. Santarém bears the mark of Portuguese colonial history from the 17th century, blending with ancient indigenous culture, leaving behind old architecture, traditional festivals, and a lifestyle mixing Eastern and Western worlds with vibrant colors. Here is also a paradise for spotting pink dolphins, the unique creatures of the Amazon River, along with diverse birds, fish, and plants, immersing visitors in one of the planet's most living, natural treasures. Amid the bustling city, Santarém still opens a gateway to the wild Amazon, where crimson sunsets reflect on the waters, leaving a powerful impression of the land's majestic yet mysterious beauty. Amid the deepest canyons of Peru, the Maranon River begins its wild journey, where roaring rapids thunder through towering cliffs before calming as it reaches the vast lowlands of the Amazon basin. Nicknamed the Water Highway of Peru, this river has long connected indigenous communities and remote towns, carrying goods, river fish, and the stories of the cultures along its banks. Many sections rush through narrow gorges between sheer rock walls, creating dramatic landscapes that 19th century explorers once called the Grand Canyon of the Amazon. In the lower regions, the waters slow down, opening into floodplain forests and riverside grasslands. Today, the Maranon is not only a vital waterway, but also a destination for adventure seekers, offering kayaking trips through rapids and eco-tours, exploring the region's rich biodiversity. Manaus impresses visitors with the sight of two rivers of different colors flowing side by side for miles without mixing. One is as dark as a mirror at night, the other a muddy yellow-brown, creating a surreal natural painting in the heart of the Amazon. The city rises like an oasis amid a vast sea of rainforest, where the horizon is painted only in shades of green. Travelers can reach it by river, stepping right into a maze of waterways and endless floodplains. Its history bears the mark of the rubber boom in the late 19th century. In the humid heat, European-style buildings rose like dreams in the jungle, evoking a prosperous past now gone. Manaus blends indigenous traditions with a cosmopolitan rhythm. Cuisine from the rivers and forests, lively music, and colorful festivals breathe life into the city at the edge of the wild. This contrast creates its special allure, a bustling city beside untouched rainforest. Sunrise awakens countless creatures, sunset paints the waters in fire, and when night falls, the Amazon whispers its eternal tales. Yasuni National Park, located in the eastern Ecuadorian Amazon, is considered one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. Here, the Napo River and hundreds of smaller tributaries form a dense network of waterways surrounding deep green forests, stretching to the horizon. Recognized by UNESCO as a biosphere reserve in 1989, Yasuni is not only home to thousands of plant and animal species, but also to indigenous communities such as the Huaorani, Tagayeri, and Taromana-Anayi, some of whom still choose to live in isolation from the outside world. Wooden observation towers rise above the forest canopy, allowing visitors to witness sunrises that turn the waters golden, while trails leading deep into the forest reveal a landscape where people, rivers, and nature have intertwined for centuries. A Yasuni, therefore, is not just a national park, but a symbol of the bond between ecological conservation, cultural heritage, and the wild beauty of the Ecuadorian Amazon. Located at the mouth of the Amazon River, Belém is a city where modern urban life meets tropical nature. Tree-lined streets lead to the bustling port, where river and sea converge, offering a scene both vibrant and deeply connected to the waters. The city was founded in the 17th century during Portuguese colonial times, and its legacy remains in cobblestone squares, historic churches, and riverside forts that once protected this land. That history blends with modern rhythms, shaping Belém's unique character. Life here revolves around the famous Vero-Peso market, where the flavors of the Amazon come alive through exotic fruits, spices, and traditional cuisine. The lively sounds of the market mingle with the waves hitting the docks, creating a vivid portrait of local culture. As the gateway to the Amazon region, Belém allows travelers to feel both the pulse of the rainforest and the weight of history, making it a stop where wild nature and growing urban life come together. Lake Sandoval, located in the heart of the Tarapoto National Reserve, is one of the most spectacular freshwater lakes of the Peruvian Amazon. Formed from an ancient meander of the Madre de Dios River that changed course, the lake stretches over 3 kilometers and is surrounded by dense rainforest, where trees, rivers, and sky merge into one. With waters as calm as a mirror, Lake Sandoval is home to many rare species, giant otters reaching up to 1.8 meters long, black caimans, red macaws, and the harpy eagle, known as the Lord of the Amazonian skies. Beneath the sediment-tinted waters lies a world of hundreds of fish species and countless aquatic organisms forming a dense web of life. The lake is also an important destination for international research teams, where ecologists have established long-term observation systems to monitor giant otter populations and study wildlife adaptation to climate change. It is one of the few places in the Amazon where many endangered species can be directly observed without complex support equipment. Lake Sandoval is recorded as hosting the largest concentration of giant otters in the Madre de Dios region, with over 70 individuals living around the lake, the highest number ever surveyed in Peru, making it the last stronghold of this iconic species in the Amazon rainforest. The Madeira River, one of the largest tributaries of the Amazon, begins in the Andes Mountains of Bolivia and winds through thousands of kilometers of rainforest before joining the vast Amazon basin. From above, it appears as a golden-brown ribbon, forming a waterway linking the mountains and lowlands of South America. For centuries, the Madeira has been a vital trade route where indigenous communities, explorers, and rubber merchants once traveled. Today, towns along its banks, such as Porto Velho and Guajará-Mirim, continue to connect the economies of Brazil and Bolivia, while small palm-shaded ports reflect the region's riverine way of life. Along its course, the Santo Antonio and Jirau waterfalls once created some of the most turbulent stretches of the Amazon, now replaced by massive hydroelectric reservoirs that provide energy while reshaping the ancient landscape and river flow. The Madeira River, therefore, carries both history and modernity, a waterway holding the legacy of trade, culture, and the natural power of the mighty Amazon. In the vast heart of the Amazon, Coari rises like a giant oasis embraced by Lake Mamiá, a broad mirror of water reflecting the tropical sky. This city of more than 85,000 residents is not just a small dot on the map, but a gateway into a world where water, forest, and people blend as one. Lake Mamiá is like a heart beating slowly within the green forest carpet, where fish swim in schools and dugout canoes gently cut through the waves. The echoes of jungle birds, the splash of fish beneath the water, all create a living symphony that only the Amazon can perform. Hidden behind that tranquility lies another strength. Coari is the birthplace of energy flows that sustain the entire state of Amazonas. From here, gas pipelines stretch outward like veins, connecting the rhythm between the wild forest and the modern city, between primal nature and human progress. Coari carries a strange duality, rustic like a fishing village by the lake, yet powerful like an energy hub. Anyone who comes here feels the fullness of life, where the Amazon whispers secrets of 1,000 years, while at the same time lighting up the dreams of contemporary Brazil. San Buenaventura, located on the northern bank of the Beni River, facing the town of Roraima, is the gateway to one of Bolivia's wildest regions. Surrounding the town are the deep green mountains of Madre National Park, where the Amazon rainforest stretches endlessly, rivers weave through the land, and the sky resonates with the constant calls of tropical birds. The blend of mountains, forests, and rivers creates a space where nature exists with almost absolute power. From the San Buenaventura docks, small wooden boats wind their way into the river branches, carrying visitors deep into the heart of Madidi. The rainforest here is famed for its extraordinary biodiversity. Along misty trails, the footprints of the indigenous Takana and Quechua cultures appear through legends and rituals tied to mountain and river deities, sacred entities protecting both the forest and its people. This small town is also linked to the history of Bolivia's Amazon exploration, where European expeditions in the 19th century once set out to find routes through the Andes down into the vast rainforests. At that time, the Beni River was a vital artery, connecting remote outposts of rubber, hardwood, and mineral extraction deep inland with the outside world. Today, as San Buenaventura becomes a stopping point for those seeking to explore the Bolivian Amazon, it still evokes the feeling that behind every river bend and forest trail lie untold stories, waiting for travelers to continue writing them with their own footsteps and memories. The Rio Negro is like a giant black ribbon, carrying the dark hue of leaves decayed in the ancient forest. This vast river stretches for thousands of miles, yet at every bend, it shows a different beauty, sometimes smooth as a mirror, sometimes rolling with sweeping waves, both mysterious and alluring. The ink-black color of the Rio Negro is not from mud, but from organic compounds dissolved from the surrounding rainforest. Seen from afar, the river appears as an endless strip of dark velvet, embracing lush green islets and reflecting the tropical sky in the glow of sunset. In Manaus, the Rio Negro meets the brown gold Amazon, creating the famous meeting of waters. For many miles, the two colors run side by side without mixing, like two souls in parallel. A wondrous love song of nature that no witness can look away from. The Rio Negro is not merely a river, but the soul of the Amazon. It brings life to millions of creatures, nourishes riverside villages, and tells the thousand-year story of the ancient forest. Within that mysterious blackness, people find generosity, strength, and the endless beauty of Brazil's nature. The Tocantins River stretches for more than 1,200 miles across central Brazil, like a giant backbone linking forests, plains, and cities together. Unlike the swirling currents of the Amazon, the Tocantins carries a sense of steadiness, a river shaped by nature yet inseparable from human presence. It flows like a deep blue ribbon, cutting across the vast land, where sunlight glimmers on its surface and the wind whispers over the waves. The Tocantins moves unhurriedly yet with endurance, like the long beak of a giant bird, reaching toward both sky and earth. Its name comes from the Tupi language, meaning toucan beak. The image evokes the bright, graceful bill of the tropical bird, both powerful and elegant. Through this name, the river becomes a symbol of the bond between nature and culture, carrying the legacy of the peoples who have lived along its banks for centuries. The Tocantins is therefore more than a river. It embodies the flow of life itself, the connection between people and nature, and the unending current linking land, sky, and memory. Iquitos, the largest city in the world, unreachable by road, lies in the heart of the vast Amazon rainforest, accessible only by boat or plane. Its isolation has not stopped Iquitos from becoming the vibrant center of the Peruvian Amazon. Since the rubber boom of the late 19th century, the city has welcomed waves of European merchants, leaving behind neoclassical architecture alongside traditional wooden stilt houses. Along the Itaya and Nane rivers, the floating Belen market and small wooden boats create a unique scene of daily life, where indigenous communities sell forest fruits, river fish, and traditional medicinal herbs. Today, Iquitos is also the gateway to the Pacaya Samiria National Reserve, a land of Amazon River dolphins, tropical birds, and flooded forests stretching all the way to the horizon. The Ucayali River, flowing from the majestic Andes, winds through the Amazonian forests of Peru, carrying silt, migrating fish, and the stories of thousands of years of natural history. This river is one of the two main tributaries forming the Amazon, regarded by indigenous peoples as the lifeline of the entire region. Many native communities live along its banks, relying on fishing, riverside farming, and traditional wooden boat trade. The rainy season swells the river, flooding forests and grasslands along its banks, turning the whole area into a maze of waterways. In the dry season, white sandbars and newly formed riverbanks emerge, reshaping the landscape each year. Along its journey, the Ucayali serves as a vital route, connecting remote villages with larger cities like Pucallpa, opening a gateway from the deep forest to the outside world, carrying both commerce and ecological significance. Chiribiquete National Park, spanning more than 10,400 square miles in southern Colombia, is an almost isolated world where rainforest, rivers, and towering table mountains merge into a vast, untouched landscape. From above, the flat-topped tepuis rise from the sea of forest like stone islands from a prehistoric era. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site in 2018, the park stands out not only for its spectacular scenery, but also for tens of thousands of ancient rock paintings stretching across its cliffs, depicting scenes of hunting, rituals, and the sacred world. These images, estimated to be over 20,000 years old, offer a rare window into pre-Columbian cultures. Above all lies an almost pristine ecosystem, where rainforest extends to the horizon, waterfalls plunge from sheer cliffs, and morning clouds drift across the tepui summits. Chiribiquete retains the full mystery of the Amazon, a place where nature remains almost untouched by human hands. The Putumayo River, winding like a brown ribbon through dense rainforest, marks the meeting point of Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru, amid the calls of howler monkeys and the flashes of brilliant birds gliding over the water. Along its banks, indigenous villages hide among tall palm trees, where people fish at dawn and trade from slow wooden boats, moving with the unhurried rhythm of the river itself. From the rubber boom of the late 19th century to modern trade routes, the Putumayo has remained a lifeline linking the deep jungle to the outside world, carrying goods, stories, and memories across generations. As the sun sets, a red glow spreads across the still waters, making the Putumayo not only a geographic boundary, but also a silent witness to the history, nature, and culture of the Amazon. In the far north of Peru, right on the border with Brazil and Colombia, Cabayacocha seems like a quiet town beside a vast lake. But in the dry season, the landscape transforms completely. The lake recedes, revealing endless mudflats and setting the stage for the largest fishing festival in the Amazon. Thousands of indigenous residents from remote villages gather here, bringing bows, nets, and hunting techniques passed down for centuries. For a few short days, the entire mudflat becomes an arena of survival, where humans, predatory birds, and giant fish all take part in nature's life and death struggle. Scientists note that even though tens of tons of fish are caught each season, the aquatic population recovers rapidly thanks to natural breeding cycles and the influx of water from the Amazon River when the rains return. As the waters rise again, all traces seem to vanish. Cabalacocha returns to its original calm, keeping secret the fiery hunts witnessed only by the local people. Hidden in the flooded forests of southern Colombia, Tarapoto Lake spreads out like a giant mirror reflecting the Amazon sky. During the rainy season, the lake expands into a vast inland sea, submerging entire stretches of riverside forest and creating a landscape that feels like it belongs to another world. What makes Tarapoto Lake remarkable is its near-total isolation. No roads, no towns, only small boats from indigenous villages navigating through narrow channels can reach it. This remoteness has turned the lake into a refuge for countless species of rare aquatic birds and fish in the Amazon region. Scientists are especially interested in the aquatic vegetation surrounding the lake. Many plant species have evolved to survive the extreme flood and drought cycles, thriving in conditions where most plants would fail. But on moonlit nights, locals say the lake sometimes releases strange, dense mists that block out the stars and make the riverside forest vanish completely into darkness, a phenomenon that remains unexplained to this day. Located on the southern edge of Colombia, right along the border with Peru and Brazil, Ucayali National Park covers more than 695 square miles of tropical rainforest, waterways, and vast wetlands. It is one of the most biodiverse areas in the Amazon, where every mile of forest hides dozens of newly discovered plant and animal species. A unique feature of Amakayaku is its natural network of waterways that weave together like a maze, understood fully only by the indigenous Tikuna people. Many channels disappear during the dry season and reappear with the rains, transforming the entire forest landscape within just a few weeks. Research teams have documented stretches of water that change color after heavy rains, shifting from muddy brown to deep blue, even though no signs of pollution or unusual minerals have been found. Locals call these stretches the windows of the forest, places where they believe nature hides something beneath the dark waters reflecting the Amazonian sky. Monte Alegre State Park, stretching along the southern bank of the Amazon River in the state of Pará, is where nature and archaeology blend into a scene both grand and mysterious. The park's cliffs preserve more than 1,000 prehistoric paintings dating back over 11,000 years, depicting hunting scenes, religious rituals, and strange geometric figures whose meanings remain debated today. At the Serra da Lua and Pedra Pintada rock shelters, layers of archaeological sediment revealed traces of long-term habitation by early communities who once lived along the Amazon when it was still wild and scarcely touched by humans. Beyond its archaeological value, Monte Alegre State Park boasts a diverse ecosystem with tropical forests, grasslands, and seasonal lakes where hundreds of species of birds, monkeys, and reptiles form a living network among the red cliffs and deep green forest. The interplay between natural landscapes and cultural relics gives the area the feel of an open-air museum, where time is recorded both in stone and tree roots. Monte Alegre evokes the sense of an unfinished epic, where each layer of rock and each ancient drawing seems to await humanity's decoding to tell its full story. Madidi National Park, stretching from the snow-covered Andes to the vast Amazon basin, is one of the most biodiverse, protected areas on the planet. Covering over 18,000 square kilometers, it embraces every kind of landscape, from peaks rising above 6,000 meters to dense tropical rainforests and wild grasslands, forming a natural panorama of grandeur and constant change. Scientists have recorded more than 1,000 bird species, accounting for nearly 10% of the world's total, along with thousands of species of butterflies, mammals, amphibians, and rare plants. Jaguars lurk beneath the forest canopy, howler monkeys echo through the valleys, while Amazon River dolphins swim beneath the reddish-brown waters of the Beni River, all forming a living network, as if the entire forest were one giant breathing organism. More than a biological paradise, Madidi is home to many indigenous communities, such as the Takana, Quechua, and Chimane, people who live in harmony with the forest, preserving medicinal knowledge and legends of mountain and river gods who have protected this land for generations. Folk tales of forest spirits and sacred lakes give Madidi a character both real and mystical. Madidi emerges not only as a national park, but as a natural kingdom where every river, mountain, and creature contributes to the endless epic of Bolivia's Amazonian wilderness. Rurenabaque, lying on the banks of the Beni River at the northern edge of the Andes, is the gateway to some of the wildest regions of Bolivia, where majestic mountains give way to the endless Amazon rainforest. From here, the Beni winds between towering cliffs before opening into flooded plains, creating a natural scene where ecosystems meet and blend together. This small town, surrounded by lush green hills and dense networks of rivers and streams serves as the starting point for expeditions to Madidi National Park and Pampas del Yacuma, two areas renowned for their exceptionally rich wildlife in South America. Pink river dolphins, troops of howler monkeys hidden in the canopy, and hundreds of brilliantly colored birds turn this place into a paradise for nature lovers and adventurous photographers. Beyond its biological wealth, Roraima is also a cultural hub for the indigenous Takana and Mozoten communities who have lived in harmony with the forests and rivers for centuries. Folk tales of forest-guarding spirits, sacred lakes, and ancient rituals continue to be preserved, giving every journey through this land a legendary dimension. Roraima unfolds before travelers like an invitation to step into a world where nature, culture, and legend intertwine into a journey with no true ending. Puerto Maldonado lies at the confluence of the Madre de Dios and Tarapoto rivers and is considered the gateway to the Peruvian Amazon. The town serves as a hub linking the majestic Andes with the endless tropical rainforests of southeastern Peru, where mighty rivers rush through and then spread into swamps, lakes, and dense jungle like a living labyrinth. From Puerto Maldonado, visitors can access two renowned nature reserves, Tambo Pata National Reserve and Manu National Park. These areas are recorded as having some of the highest biodiversity densities on the planet. Over 600 bird species, 1,200 butterfly species, jaguars, giant otters, howler monkeys, and thousands of tropical plant species form a dense and mysterious web of life. In the 20th century, Puerto Maldonado was an important center for rubber and gold extraction, where European and Peruvian expeditions departed in search of routes across the Amazon. These journeys opened networks of rivers and trade paths, while leaving behind stories of mysterious lands, gold rushes, and unknown indigenous civilizations. Just 30 kilometers west of town, the vast Sandoval Lake lies within flooded forest, home to countless waterbirds, black caimans, and giant otters, making it one of the most spectacular wildlife watching spots in the Peruvian Amazon.